What's up, EPI? And I look out and I see 800 of the brightest minds in exit planning, and they give me the mic, the guy who wears the Aloha shirts and throws shakas at board meetings. I'm super stoked to be here, you guys. Thank you so much. My name is Skylar Stokes, and I run an investment firm, an alternative investment firm called Aloha Wealth Partners. And I want to share something with you guys that really changed my life. And it was an experience that I had while lifeguarding on Kauai. And what I discovered this one day, I knew that I had to take with me for the rest of my life and implement it both in my personal life and in my career and whatever that might have been. And it was this energy of life itself, this abundance mindset, this contribution mindset where love and gratitude, respect and appreciation just come together and flow like a waterfall. And simply put, you guys, it was the Aloha spirit. And what I want you guys to get out of this today is I want you to walk away with something that can help you elevate your experience in your life and help implement the experience both from the client perspective and from your personal relationships. And the way that we're going to get there, you guys, is I'm going to tell you my story. And I grew up in what was once small beach community in North County, San Diego called Solana Beach. And I had to be cool, and everybody was doing action sports when you're in middle school. And it was either surfing, skateboarding, snowboarding, BMX, whatever it was. And I learned pretty early on that concrete hurts a lot more when you fall in it than water. So I started surfing a lot more and gravitated more towards that lifestyle. And I was really competitive with it. You know, I really enjoyed it, went all around the coast and competed and everything else. And I had the opportunity to go back and forth from Hawaii quite frequently when I was a kid. So it always kind of felt like a second home for me. And one thing that was always really unique, though, is regardless of where I was in the world, there was always a lifeguard, right? They were always going in and out of the water with their jet skis, doing beach operations with ATVs and trucks, all sorts of cliff rescues. At one point, I was watching some pretty cool stuff with helicopters. And when you're in 13 to 16 years old and you realize that money doesn't come up with a tide, but you actually have to go work for it, in my mind, I thought, well, that's a pretty sick job. I can go do all that fun stuff and be at the beach at the same time. So that's the direction I went in, and I got all my licenses, my EMT, my jet ski operations, and everything else. But I always felt like that competitive nature of mine just wanted to be better. And because of the experience that I had by going back and forth from Hawaii quite frequently, you know, I was always watching waves like Pipeline and Waimea and Haleiwa and all these really huge waves, and I thought, well, those are the best waves and the best lifeguards in the world, which means I have to be with those guys. So at one point, a lifeguard position opened up on Kauai, and I said, this is my opportunity. I'm not even gonna think twice about it. I'm gonna apply, and I'm moving over there, and I'm gonna get the job, and that's what I did. And a couple months later, after just trying to get through and figuring out whether I was actually gonna get the job, I finally got the call, and they said, Skylar, we'd like to offer you the position. And I was like, yes, this is my moment. And as I was going around the island, what I noticed was I really enjoyed the south side of Kauai more than I did anywhere else. And it was because it was just more of like a family-oriented environment. So I had this, I was stationed in this one place called Salt Pond and Kekaha, and that's not a ritzy area, you guys. It's not Waikiki where there's towers and people are spending tons of money at the international marketplace. It's not North Shore Kauai where Mark Zuckerberg is buying hundreds of acres of land and having compounds, stuff like that. This is like truly roots Hawaii, where families would come down to the beach under the pavilions and they would hang out all day. And I mean cook, clean, they'd play music, they would just enjoy the day there. And as a lifeguard, I was there to help the community. And what I realized, though, is I enjoyed being there so much that I was there before my shift, and I would stay after my shift, and I would help these people just kind of do whatever. And that might have been just taking the stuff from the back of the truck and putting it under the pavilions or setting up tents or whatever. And after a couple of months, I was walking back to my lifeguard tower just to watch the water, and this kid comes up to me and he says, "Uncle, And I didn't really think anything of it. And then he said, "Uncle," again. And I look behind me, and this kid has in his hands a bowl, and in his bowl was some food. It was rice with chili on top of it, called chili and rice. And he hands me this. He said, "Do you like chili and rice?" Like that. And I remember that so vividly because in the Hawaiian culture and in the community, uncle is someone who's older than you. Not only are they older than you, but they're probably part of your family because the islands are pretty small. So when he said that to me, it was a sign of respect, like I have more wisdom, and even though I'm a foreigner, he was sharing the aloha with me. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but I do not look like Maui from Moana, right? I'm white skin, blonde hair, and when I get sunburned, my nose turns red. I look more like Olaf than I do anything else. So it was pretty cool for him to see me as part of this community, and he was giving me and sharing with me the aloha. And it meant a lot to me, guys, because what I realized in that moment was this is a contribution mindset. This is what it means to be a part of a community, from a tribe mentality, where everyone is working together to help each other out. And even though it's part of my job to be a lifeguard, it meant more than that. And I was always trying to help them out throughout the day and do other things. And what was the coolest part about it is, at the end of my shifts, I would always be invited to go do things with the families. So I went night diving with some of these families, and we did slipper lobster diving in the middle of the night, kamakani, went surfing. I was just part of the community. So it was something that I felt really, really passionate about and strongly about as far as just being a part of that tribe. What I discovered after a while, though, is lifeguard only gets me so far as financial compensation. And I knew that I needed to have something bigger in my life. So I called my dad, who's been an advisor since the early 80s, a financial advisor, and I said, "Dad, I'm having a hard time. Can you kind of help me out?" He said, "Yeah, come on home and I'll kind of teach you the ropes." And I said, "Great." So I go home, I get my licenses, and then he's like, "Go get him, Tiger." And being an independent advisor, it was the hardest thing ever, you guys, because I don't know if you can tell, but the financial industry is really cutthroat, right? It is. We're all trying to show each other how much better our pricing is, or how cooler our widget is, our models and our processes are cooler, whatever it is. And it was just the hardest thing ever for me to understand, because I just came from this environment where everything was about sharing and giving, right? It was really hard for me. But once I discovered that I could actually implement this aloha lifestyle, this tribe mentality, this contribution mindset into business, my life changed. My business changed, my relationships changed, so much so that it helped me grow substantially faster and much quicker than I originally anticipated. So I want us to think about this for a second, you guys. What if we were to start thinking about business not from a competitive mindset, but from a contribution mindset, right? From this, we are all in this together. And SEPA and EPI does this really well because we're all really collaborative advisors. But for the independent advisors, the younger advisors, who are trying to figure out which direction to go in, it is about collaboration. It is about getting together. It is about that tribe mentality. And it was, I want us to think about for a second, what would happen if we thought about this in the sense of wealth is not in dollars and cents. It's in the heart and in sharing, right? Because in the aloha spirit and the tribe mentality, if I'm sharing something with you, if I'm giving something to you, it's really not me helping you. It's you helping me. Because now you get to see how cool of a person I am. Now you get to see how much I'm going to help you grow your practice. Now you get to see how good of a guy I am, right? So I want us to think about for a second our A clients, right? We all have them and we all love them so much. But why is it that we love them? I'm going to argue it's probably because you guys have great relationships with them, right? They call you when they're on their boat in Cabo and they're telling you that they're seeing the eclipse through a cereal box, right? Or you go on surf trips with them to Costa Rica, right? Like those are the types of clients that you really enjoy. It's because they have a respect for you and you have a respect for them. Now let's think about this from our worst clients' perspective. Okay, let me rephrase that. Clients that you do have right now that you wish you didn't have. Because let's be honest, we all have them, right? We get the call in the middle of the day, our head goes back, we're like, oh, not again. We have those people. Well, what if we were to reintroduce that client to somebody else who would really appreciate that relationship, right? Just pass them off to somebody that you know is going to appreciate that relationship, that's going to do better for that client than what you could. Because that client probably doesn't respect you and your time, and you probably don't respect them because of whatever reason. So this happened to me. I actually, before I started my firm, Aloha Wealth Partners, I was really into the retirement plan space, the 401k, defined benefit, defined contribution, all that fun stuff. Because in my mind, I thought, if I could show value to a business owner by giving them some tax sheltering through a retirement plan, I'll be the hero, right? But it really wasn't what I wanted. What I wanted was to actually get to that place where I could help them through that exit and then do the alternative investments at the very end and give them some tax efficiency as far as investments later. And that, it didn't really serve the client well, it only served me, and I felt really guilty about that for a long time. So I called my buddies and I said, let's get a beer because I'm struggling with this and this is all you do is retirement plans and 401ks. He said, great. And after the conversation, what I discovered and what I realized is this was the guy that was gonna be my client's hero, right? He was gonna be the guy that I knew I could trust these people with because this is what he does and he's really good at what he does and this is all he does. And so I told him, I said, Dave, I'm just gonna hand these people off to you through an introduction. I want you to service them. He goes, well, why don't we have like some sort of financial compensation arrangement? And I was like, dude, I really don't care about that. What I really care about is just you making sure these clients are taken care of. He's like, okay, sure. And so I made those introductions, and would you know, a couple weeks later, after I explained to him like what I was trying to do, which is the exit planning and the alternative investment stuff, he sends me a client. He sends me an introduction to one of his clients, second generation business owner. She's got 60 employees. They're in the aerospace manufacturing business, and she's looking at potential exit in the next 3 to 5 years. It's a perfect opportunity for me to now work with something and somebody that I really enjoy doing, and I'm probably going to make a lot more than what I was doing in the 401k space. And it's all because I came from this contribution mindset where I just wanted to help and give and make sure that these clients were taken care of. So as you can tell by now, like I'm pretty passionate about giving and I'm pretty passionate about the Aloha spirit and the tribe mentality and putting things in the perspective where you're just trying to give stuff away. And it's a 4-step process to just help you exponentially grow your business. The first is you tenaciously connect people together even though you know it's not going to benefit you, right? If you know that somebody's going to be better suited for somebody else, connect them and just step back. This happened to me the other day where I have a tax attorney buddy and I sent him a client a couple of years ago. I totally forgot about it and he said, this client has helped us and saved us through all of COVID. And I said, which client? He goes, this client. I was like, I don't remember. He goes, you sent him to me. I was like, I forgot. And so that's the first thing, is tenaciously connect people even though you know it's not going to benefit you. The second thing is create case study groups together, right? Find your favorite people in your community and get together and start working on case studies together. It doesn't have to be a real case study. It could be like an imaginary made-up number or imaginary made-up case. But the point is getting together with your centers of influences and doing this together can really help you grow. The third thing is if you have clients or opportunities that you know are going to be better suited for those people in that group, introduce those people to those COIs, right? Give that business away. And the fourth thing is do it freely. Do it without any expectation that you're going to get something in return, because it all comes back around, truthfully. So being a SEPA obviously has its benefits, which means that if you're not a SEPA, you need to get your SEPA, otherwise you can't come to Fight Club next year. But one of the coolest things is we all have our chapters, and in the San Diego chapter, we have a number of really cool people, and I'm so stoked to be in that group. But there's a value acceleration group called the Founders Group that I started to get really involved with, and I went through the program, the Certified Founders Group Associate program. Phenomenal program, highly recommend it. It was really, really influential for me in helping me grow. But what I discovered is they give me the tools to actually put these study groups together and be the center quarterback to all of this that we're doing together. So I bring in my tax attorney buddy, I bring in my CPA friends or estate planning attorneys or business brokers or whoever it is, and we work on case studies together. And what I can tell you is when you start doing stuff like that, not only are you going to have those people coming up to you after the case study group and saying, Skylar, I have this client who's doing this, what do you think? Or someone's going to come up to you and say, what do you think about this idea? Because I was thinking through this whole process, if they did this, I have a client who I can actually introduce you to because this is what they need, right? You are becoming this person who is connecting people without any expectation of getting something in return, and it's just happening for you naturally, right? So again, the 4 things are connecting each other, or tenaciously connecting people even though it's not gonna benefit you. The second thing is to create those study groups. The third thing is to give business away to some of those people in those study groups. And the fourth, again, is to do it without any expectation of getting something in return. So at the end of the day, you guys, it's something where, again, having the contribution mindset where you're trying to help give something else to somebody, they're going to reciprocate that at some point. They're gonna appreciate you, and the aloha spirit that you're bringing into your study groups or your practice groups is really going to help you out, right? Like I explained before, that a second generation business owner, we're now in the engagement stage, right? Which is incredible. So think about it from the perspective of we're all in this together. We have this tribe. Use part of your community to grow together, and let's do this because this is what we're all about, right? We're about collaboration. We're about being part of a tribe. Thank you, guys.